So, when the opening night of the 2022 NBA season went down, I did a similar video to this one, but obviously only 4 teams played that night, and there are plenty more teams with interesting storylines to follow. So now that we're a week into the year, I wanted to do a similar video under the same guise as that one, but focus on the rest of the league now. Every team has had about 4 games under their belt to this point in the first week, which may not be the biggest sample size, but it's enough to start noticing patterns and notable standouts that we should all definitely continue to monitor as the season progresses, which is basically what I'll be talking about in this video. Specifically, we will be discussing 6 things in particular that fall into this category. Before we start though, it turns out about 49% of you watching right now aren't even subscribed to the channel, so please, if you enjoy the content, consider hitting the subscribe button, as not only does it help out a ton, but I'd also very much appreciate it. Now with that being said, let's begin. The first notable thing we learned from opening week of the season is that Scottie Barnes of the Toronto Raptors is ready to prove everyone wrong about him. When Barnes was drafted 4th overall in the draft this year, many were critical of the Raptors for passing on Jalen Suggs, who most presumed was the obvious choice there. Barnes was seen as far more raw as a talent, and it's fair to say they weren't exactly sure if he would be someone who pans out at the next level. But after a strong showing in the Summer League and in preseason, Barnes is transitioning seamlessly to the NBA game and is playing at a level early on that nobody saw coming a few months ago. He's averaging about 17 points and 9 rebounds per game so far, and the fact that he's scoring the ball so well already may be the most pleasant surprise of all. He's a strong, versatile forward who has done very well absorbing contact and finishing at the rim. He's a very smart player with his decision-making to this point, and most importantly, his defense has been smothering his opponents. He has a chance to be one of the most versatile defenders in the league as he continues to develop down the line, and if his scoring isn't a fluke, then Masai and the Raptors front office will once again have outsmarted the general public. The next big thing we learned from opening week of the season is that the hype surrounding the Chicago Bulls in the offseason very much may be legit. The Bulls are off to a blistering hot start, winning their first 4 games of the season, and the big-name additions they made in the offseason are fitting in very well so far. Lonzo Ball looks more comfortable than he did with the Pelicans right now, DeMar DeRozan is still proving to be a reliable scorer, putting up over 20 points a night, and defensively, they're performing like one of the best units in the league right now on that end, after most of the question marks regarding them in the offseason were about that end of the floor. I will say though that their wins so far have come against the lowly Pistons without Cade Cunningham twice, the Raptors without Pascal Siakam, and the Pelicans without Zion Williamson, so it is somewhat fair to counter this point by saying that their competition hasn't exactly been stellar, but at the very least, it's a strong start with a lot of good things to build off of. Their schedule is about to really ramp up difficulty-wise over the next month, so we'll really get to see how they fare against the league's best, but for now, there's a lot to be happy with them. The next notable thing we learned from the opening week of the season is that something's wrong with James Harden, and the Nets need to figure it out quick. Everybody has rejoiced at the league finally addressing the flopping and unnatural ways that players have been drawing fouls in the past by changing the rules regarding those situations for this season. And seeing as Harden has been one of the most prevalent free throw shooters the league has ever seen, people just seem to assume that his free throw rate going down is because of this rule change, and thus it has affected his overall impact and production. But his mediocre production to this point is so much more than that. Harden's been one of the best scorers in the league's history for years now, but since his arrival in Brooklyn, he's been embracing more of the playmaker role because of all the talent around him. He's not looking for his own offense nearly as much. When he has, he's just simply been in a slump, shooting poorly early on, and most notable of all is that the injury that held him back in the playoffs last season may still be lingering because he doesn't look as quick and shifty as he did prior to it yet. It's not time to panic for the Nets, but without Kyrie Irving, they do need Harden at his best, so figuring this out is crucial. The next big thing we learned from opening week is that the 76ers need to do something. By this, I'm obviously referring to the Ben Simmons stuff, but that has now impacted what's going on for them in games. No resolution to all of it means that they're just playing without one of their best players, and no matter how frustrated everybody is with Ben, his absence is hurting them on the court. The team's defense isn't nearly as good as it was last season because, duh, Simmons and his runner-up to the Defensive Player of the Year impact definitely helped their top-ranked defense in a big way, and even offensively, Simmons is a terrific passer and playmaker for those around him, so while his own scoring is the source of frustration, he does at least alleviate the lives of the role players around him with that, which isn't the case now without him. The Sixers lack quality primary ball handlers right now, so the sooner they either bring Simmons back or execute a trade where they ship him out in exchange for a piece or two that can fill that role better is what would help them soon as possible. Because with Joel Embiid still battling through a sore knee, they need to take some pressure off of his shoulders for his own health and his own sake. The next notable thing we've learned from the first week of the season is that the Hornets are not only really fun, but they also may be a lot better than we thought they'd be. The Hornets rebrand started last season with an up-tempo style of play and a fun rookie in LaMelo Ball, bringing more eyes to the team. And now, they've started the season winning 3 of their first 4 games, with their only loss being in overtime to the Celtics, and some serious chemistry is developing there. Not only is LaMelo Ball elevating his play in year 2, taking the leap we were hoping to see from him while also minimizing the rookie mistakes from a year ago, but Miles Bridges is also playing some of the best basketball of his career as well, averaging about 25 points to this point. Last season, the team was on the brink of a playoff berth in the play-in tournament, so they weren't very far off already, and the team is also playing like this without Terry Rozier to start the season, so they have even more room to improve when he comes back, making them a prime potential playoff candidate ahead of schedule. And finally, the last notable thing we learned from the first week of the season that we'll be discussing today is that the Cavaliers' experiment with massive big ball lineups might be crazy, but they also just might work. The Cavaliers' starting 5 consists of a backcourt of Colin Sexton and Darius Garland, but then their front court is made up of 3 7-footers, with Evan Mobley, Lauri Markkanen, and Jarrett Allen. On paper, this seems insane, but in actuality, they've been making it work. Offensively, Lauri's shooting ability has been crucial to the team's floor spacing, and rookie Evan Mobley is proving to be a sensational player early on, with his defensive versatility, both on the perimeter and in the interior, being the key to this lineup's success. The team is 2-2 to start the year, and lineups with that 7-foot trio on the court actually have a positive net rating, so it just might be crazy enough to work for them. And with that being said, that's all I have for you today. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below what stuck out to you in the first week of the season. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.